If you enjoyed podcasts like this, you should check out our other shows on Health Podcast Network. For example, Better with Dr. Erica, hosted by Dr. Erica, provides support and guidance in navigating stress-related challenges to transform your relationship to self-care. Each episode arms you with the tools needed to be better, do better, and live better. There was an incredible episode that you should check out called Touch and Connections as Tools for Healing and Better Mental Health. In this episode, her guest breaks down ways to use physical touch as a form of healing for trauma and grief. Check out Better with Dr. Erica on your favorite podcast platform or visit healthpodcastnetwork.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Raj Sundar, a family physician and a community organizer. You're listening to Healthcare for Humans, the show dedicated to educating you on how to care for culturally diverse communities so you can be a better healer. This is about everything that you wish you knew to really care for the person in front of you, not just a body system. Let's learn together. Welcome to a special episode of our podcast. This episode is a bit different. I was hoping to answer a question or find an approach to something that I was struggling with and ended up connecting with an incredible, impactful organization and project that is actively building support and healing in the LGBTQIA plus community in Africa. This started after a difficult conversation. In one of the East African communities that I was working with, we had difficult conversations about how they felt marginalized in initiatives such as vaccine accessibility and respect for their culture, you name it. At the same time, I witnessed continued pressure from that very same community to exclude their own community members who identified as LGBTQIA+. As an outsider, I found myself at a loss on how to support them while also addressing this obvious exclusion, how the marginalized were marginalizing other people themselves. In my search for support for this community, I stumbled upon the Dream Academy. The Dream Academy is a community-led initiative facilitated by Safe Place International. The Dream Academy offers a 10-week intensive virtual course focused on leadership development and job skills training. And Safe Place International overall, as a nonprofit, their mission is to cultivate ecosystems of safety, healing, and collective for an intersectional community of LGBTQI plus displaced persons. It was an initiative created to address a hostile environment for many folks. As of 2022, homosexuality was criminalized in 32 countries in Africa, with 4 imposing the death penalty for same-sex relationships. A reminder that globally, 71 countries criminalize homosexuality, so 32 out of 71 are in Africa. Although we need to advocate and fight for systemic changes, which is how real change happens, it was incredible to connect with folks in the community whose lives were transformed by this 10-week course called the Dream Academy. Today, you'll hear real-life experiences from individuals living in Botswana, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Cameroon. And listening to the voices that you'll hear today over and over again, it gave me hope that we all really can start doing the work now, no matter how big the problem seems, because there are ways to truly create places and communities of belonging where we are. Okay, let's get started. This is what we're going to do today. I'm going to set the context and share clips from many voices today. The first voice that you'll hear from that I want you to meet is Cathy, an ally that participated in the Dream Academy. With a background in radio, she's going to help set the stage about the lack of awareness about the LGBTQIA plus community in Botswana.
I am a radio presenter. Been in the business since 2010, so it's about 13 years now. Before then, I worked in a music studio. I had another conversation hosting a particular organization that works with the LGBTQ community. And we were, again, just trying to sensitize the nation. This is what is going on. I think it was on Idaho at the time. And somebody called and literally asked, how do you say LGBTQ plus in Botswana? And we didn't really have the answers because we don't really have the words for it, but we tried to explain what we meant by that. And I think it's very clear that time and again, history will show you that this is not a new concept. It's not children wanting to be fancy or young people wanting to be modern. This is something that has existed throughout time, but unfortunately, a lot of the time it was stigmatized. It was looked down upon. We segregated people within the LGBTQ community. So I don't know so much that if you try and translate it into our language, they'll understand something that was always swept under the carpet and very much not talked about, not accepted. Let's hide it. I actually truly believe there are quite a large number of LGBTQ plus people who decided to be traditional. So you'll have a gay man just getting married just to get his family off his back. You'll have a lesbian woman getting married. So I think that has been happening and going on. I think what happened in the last decade or so is that more and more people were visual, were vocal, were open with it. And I think that has been the thing. And of course, social media, I think we shouldn't take away the fact that a lot of things have been happening in the world, but we just didn't know about it because social media wasn't telling us about it. So now it is. And so we think these are new things, but it probably just didn't see it.
It's one thing to have lack of awareness, but the discrimination from the harsh realities of criminalization of your identity is hard to hear. Brainze, a participant in the Dream Academy from Cameroon, shares a perspective on identity and the reality of being criminalized simply for being yourself. The consequences really do extend beyond just legal ramification. There are community and financial implications, not to mention the normalization of police brutality.
I'm Cameroonian. I grew up in Leidenberg. It's in the southwest region of Cameroon. And I grew up there my whole life, practically my whole life. Right now, I stay in the central region, that's Yaoundé. Identify as she, her. I'm a stud, I'm a masculine representing female, but I identify as she, her, because I really don't like the whole idea of identifying as a he. So I love to keep my femininity, even though I represent myself in a more masculine way, my outfit and stuff. And growing up, I've always been that tomboy, from birth. Some people think maybe from birth I was affected psychologically because my mom wanted a boy child. And I came out just feeling like one, and I always wanted to dress up in boy clothes. And way young, I found out I already know that I was a lesbian. I wasn't attracted to boys. I always wanted to do boy stuff instead of the girl stuff. Right from a tender age, I already knew that I was into girls. Toxicity to me as an LGBTQ person is just the way people relate to the LGBT community in Africa, in Cameroon, to be precise. That's where I'm at. In Cameroon, we have people say, you're just going through a phase. They have this phase mindset. Like when they find out of your sexuality, they say you're going through a phase, or they say, no, you're possessed and you need deliverance. So that's very toxic for me because, like I said earlier, sexuals do not demand the right to be who they are. They're trying to make us prove why we're like that, and they're trying to make us think that we are not African, because some people will go as far as saying being gay or being a lesbian is not African, and that's toxic. And to the level where they go as far as refusing to give you a job, even when you qualify for the job, or locking you up and beating the hell out of you. For some people, you can't just go around doing things, and people just point fingers at you, and they try to tell you that you're not fit to be in the community that you're in the country that you're in. You don't deserve African stuff. We have those things, and then when psychologically, if you get caught up in a room with my partner right now and say the police can just decide to break into your house and arrest you, or people around can observe you and they decide to break into your house and beat you up and take you to the police station for being who you are. There was a story, I think it's not been up to 6 months. entered this lady's house. She was with her partner, and they beat them up and took the other one to the police station, and they locked her up. And there are many other stories that have surfaced like that. People in the community just gang up and they beat you up, they'll beat the hell out of you. And sometimes the police harasses us, like when they meet us in the gathering. Sometimes we have group parties we attend, and when the police meets us there, they extort money from us. One time we had a party and they met us, they took 50,000 francs from us so that they will not take us, they will not go and lock us up. And we had no choice to give it because they already say they have informants that told them that we're a community of gay people. So they came there and they threatened to arrest us. We had to give them a bribe so that they will not arrest us.
And speaking of community consequences, imagine facing exclusion so deep that even your own family rejects you. Both Tom and Arnold have experienced this firsthand, who are also both participants of the Dream Academy. They've been kicked out by their families and at times face threats and extortion because of their identities.
Okay, like you said, my name is Tom and I'm 31 years old and I'm non-binary. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm born in Botswana, raised here, and all my life I have been living in Botswana. And right now I'm working in Botswana and I'm as a human rights in my hometown, with people. And I work more with the LGBTQIA community, Christian being. I came out first to my parents. 2005, I was 14 years old. And it was very hard for them because all they thought was just a phase. They would change when they grew up. And that's when I had my first girlfriend when I was 14. So when I finished my Form 5 and I was 18 by then, and I just came out to them like, I'm still dating girls, nothing changed. And my parents were furious. Then they rejected me and they chased me away from home. Like, I stayed 6 months with my girlfriend, then she passed away. I went to stay with my dad because by then my mom and my dad were staying separate places. And by then my dad knew nothing about my sexuality, so I just stayed with him. And then I came back to my hometown, to my mom, and we stayed together for some few years. That's when I came out to them again as a non-binary. But by then they didn't have much choice. By the time I came out to my church, and then the pastor suspended me and chased me away from church. My mom also, we attended the same church. Then by then she just chased me away from home also.
I think it's a common experience about being excluded from their family, which is often how people end up unhoused. Arnold is going to share his journey from Zimbabwe, or as he calls it, Zim, highlighting the challenges of being not only gay, but also a gay refugee in South Africa, which he calls SA, where he had to escape to. He experienced discrimination both from his sexuality, but then also being a refugee. It almost feels like there's no place to escape to.
I'm Arnold. I am a he. He, him, his. But I'm gay. I'm originally from Zim, but when she passed away, because of my other family, like my brother, he was homophobic. And when she passed away, property, my inheritance, he used it against me in the court of law that I was gay. And he published my name. I was put all over Facebook, Instagram, social media. I was scared for my life. I came to SA through my sister. She was already here in SA. She was already studying here. She was like, no, I can actually help you. You come and stay with me. That's how I left them. Because I was everywhere. My name was everywhere. So I was actually scared of my life, for my life. But as a refugee in South Africa, the people are xenophobic. In South Africa, they don't like foreigners. For starters, they hate foreigners. As a refugee in South Africa, it's not that easy. You go to the doctors, you go to the clinic. They already judge you because if you don't have a South African ID, they put you on the side. They already sideline you. They judge you like they're taking all of our resources because it's free in South Africa. It's free to go to the clinic. If you come as a foreigner, you're a refugee, it's a problem because they don't give you the attention as they give their own. You come second, third. So they rather help the South African nationals before they help you. So it's not easy. You're also judged here. They've already put you in some type of category like, okay, first of all, you're a refugee and you're gay. You want this. If they don't have HIV, probably it's an STI, or they have this or this, anything that's not good. They don't want to hear what you're there for. But even if I'm not having none of those, you're also not comfortable now saying some of them because you've already been stereotyped and you've already been judged because of your sexuality. Because they'll be like, we know them. We know them. The moment you say, no, I'm gay. Oh, why are you gay? We know you people. You're always doing these things. You're always doing these things. Why are you doing those things? At the end of the day, you just have to take it. You just have to keep quiet because at the end of the day, I also need the help. I also need the services.
Hearing all this, it's so overwhelming to think about addressing political and societal beliefs that systematically exclude LGBTQIA plus individuals. But what does change look like? What does support mean? I know many in the community have spent years advocating for these changes. Yet, what I heard from Cathy, Brainze, Arnold, and Tom is how a specific place, an initiative, actually transformed their lives even in this context that you heard of criminalization, brutality, exclusion, and discrimination.
I found out about Safe Place 2021 December by my best friend, Gigi. They contacted me and told me that there's a online course, leadership, and I just got interested because they were talking about leadership. So I'm so into leadership more than anything. So I joined the class. At first, I had my doubt, like it was an online class and you just attended that class with people you don't know. Because in my class, I was only Botswana. I was the only person from Botswana. So I was like, is this really legit? Like, you attend this class and they're saying that you're going to graduate, get a certificate, and you are not paying anything.
Okay, so I have this friend in the UK. We are actually working on an organization, Kings and Queens Cameroon. We provide safe houses and assistance for LGBTQ people in our zone and people we can reach out to. So she got in contact with Dali. I think Dali is one of the executives at Safe Place International. And we had an interview where we're having this meeting for a grant for our organization. And the Dream Academy was just like a few weeks away, and Dolly told me about it. So I got into the Dream Academy, and the love I've received from the Dream Academy is, I don't know how to express that, but they're like my parents at the Dream Academy. And when I think about the people I've met there and SPI too, I feel so loved. Sometimes I'll be having a very bad day, but as we have a class, I'll go there and just listen to other people talk or maybe share something, and I'll feel better, like a safe place for me. And I think for everyone else that has been on the Dream Academy and maybe say come across SPI, because they're their whole bucket of love and they keep sharing to us. The Dream Academy always wants to know how you're doing. That's care. That's love. Every time I go on there, before we get to the official class, they can go around and asking people, oh, are you okay? And there's Mama E and Papa Richie and Justin. They're a whole ball of love and mercy. They always ask, how you doing? Are you okay? Do you want to say something? That freedom of speech that they give us, that they give me, is already so much warmth for me. as an LGBTQ person, because it's not in every community I go that somebody will ask me, how are you feeling today? What do you want to do? When you ask you a question, you can always say anything that you're thinking, and they just teach us and they just shower us with love. That is it for me. They gave me a grant to help grow my business, which I'm currently building right now. And they taught me many tools about graphic design and on storytelling, how to grow your social media and how to go about your business online and growing yourself as a person.
For all the voices that you heard today, that plays was The Dream Academy by Safe Place International that I mentioned. It offered a sense of safety, acceptance, and on top of that, tangible, concrete skills. It empowered individuals to make a real impact in society, which Cathy emphasizes, and places in the context of a global problem of brain drain in many African countries.
You're mentioning something that I hadn't talked about, and that's the empowerment in terms of tangible skills that we receive from the academy. So there are graphics tutorials, there are tutorials on different websites where you can get jobs. And unemployment is such a big problem, not just in Botswana, but I could say Africa as a whole. I know definitely Southern Africa, but this is the main reason why we had the brain drain happening and so many Africans leaving home and heading out to try and find greener pastures, a lot of them losing their lives in the process. I really wish people could ask themselves if anybody would want to leave their home and head to somewhere else where they know chances are they're not going to be accepted, they're going to be segregated, then they're going to be looked down upon. When I look at migration and what happens there, I always wish people could really just ask themselves whether people would leave home and head to wherever they've headed to just for fun. You know, you have to really have that heart to realize it's not out of choice. Literally, people have no choice. Their lives are in danger. They are unable to work. You know, situations are getting harder and harder in Botswana. I personally benefited a 2-minute elevator pitch. I have never learned that, but I have been working in the media for almost 13 years. So 10 weeks of the Dream Academy helped change my social media game. It helped me be able to do my own graphics and flyers through applications such as Canva. Just such basic things like being able to go to transcribe.com and start working online, because honestly, unemployment is such a problem, and the loss of dignity that happens when people are not able to make any money for themselves and put food on their table. A lot of the social ills that we are seeing are mostly born out of desperation, are mostly born out of people just couldn't pay their own bills. They resorted to, let me date 6 guys at once. Let me date this person who's old enough to be my father so he can do ABC for me. And you realize some of these things even go as deep as the parents know what is going on and they are okay with it because that's how they get groceries. That's how they get groceries. So all of these come back to let's empower people. And whoever is listening and contemplating coming on board to assist Safe Place International, to help to sponsor the Dream Academy, I promise you, those lessons don't just fall on the ground. They are absolutely sowing into fertile ground.
And they brought out more of the passion side of me, because I know I was very passionate about cooking and graphic design. And they made me know that I can grow my passion no matter what any other person is saying around me, no matter what whoever is doing. And that really impacted me a lot. And the freedom that I get when I'm at the Dream Academy, when we have classes on this very Zoom, it's amazing, because they always want to know how we're doing, and we also ask how they're doing, and everybody shares, and everybody is free to express themselves in the way that they want. You come as you are. They say, come as you are, and no answer is wrong.
it also has everyone involved. So I had no self-esteem. I had low self-esteem. I had no confidence in myself. I was always the quiet one, and people took advantage of that because I was always not talking, speaking out. I was that person who used to just listen, told, do this, do that, do this, do that, with no say in his life. Because of my sexuality, I felt like I'm not good enough. I'm a curse. That's how we're raised. That's how these things were instilled in us when you're growing up, especially in a Christian family. I didn't have all that. I started gaining my voice, gaining my self-esteem. I started speaking out. I actually discovered my no, because they say a kid's first word is a no. I never had a no since I was growing up, because I was always shy, because I always knew what I was and what it was portrayed in the world. So I started gaining. The first no, I gained it when I was 31 at that time for me. So it really helped me a lot. Now I could stand up to my brother. Now I could tell him, text him and tell him, you know what, I'm coming for what's mine. Just because of the Safe Place International. It helped me a lot.
At first, I was like, will I really cope? Because we were always on camera. Like, I'll always be on camera looking at the people that I don't know. Or my self-esteem really allowed that. I just found it flexible, and it really, it even helped me to open up, just to share things that I never thought I would share. Then I was really relieved. It really helped me mentally, emotionally. Like, I would say Dream Academy change. They taught us a lot of things, and they gave us skills on leadership. And they taught us anger management skills, and just being there and sharing what you are angry at and what you need to forgive yourself on, people you want to forgive. It really, really helped us to work on ourselves.
After hearing all this, hope you understand just how important small groups, initiatives, and spaces can be, even in the context of forces a lot bigger than what it seems like any individual can change in a given day. This work matters.
Yeah, no, like I say, it really made me realize the importance of a safe space. And it's all virtual. So when I say safe space, I'm actually even talking about cyberspace. Who would have thought cyberspace can be a safe space? But that part was really beautiful, to have a community of people that are coming together and bearing their souls. Our stories were the same, regardless of our sexual identity or our gender preference. It affirmed me as an individual. It helped me find a voice. It helped me see the spaces within my professional life where I wasn't being valued, where I hadn't even really thought much of myself. It was really an all-rounded course that was invaluable.
And there's hope in doing this work too. And it's important to recognize that, because it's an important and powerful force that can keep us going. And hanging on to concrete wins like the decriminalization of same-sex relationships in Botswana that just happened. Here's what hope sounds like.
I'm hopeful for the better, because it's not going anywhere. I want to give an example, like where I grew up in Zim. Where I grew up, it's a small town called Kariba. Very small.
That's good.
Everyone knows everyone. When I was growing up, before I came out, there's this guy who came to stay in Kariba, and he was so much gay. Like, he was so open with himself. He was very free. He could express himself. This is in Zimbabwe. Since it was a small town, people became friends with him. People were saying bad things, this and that. They ended up becoming all friends with him. And they ended up accepting him because First, they didn't understand what they're dealing with. They were seeing it on TV. They saw it on TV. They saw it like, this is what's happening in South Africa. Yeah, I think some didn't even understand if she was a girl or is he a boy. And then eventually everyone accepted him. So I feel like with time, it's not going anywhere. It's all about getting to know what you're dealing with and accepting it's just the same people, just different, the things that we have been used to or we grew up knowing. So I still have hope. From that, I have hope because I saw something that as long as it's a small group of people, it might start as a small group of people. They get to know the person and then they become friends. They actually started defending him. It was like the community was now defending him. The people were defending him from the police or the soldiers trying to beat him up. So I feel like I have hope. If there's no hope, there's no future.
I know many in the community have spent years advocating for these changes. Yet, what I heard from Cathy, Brainze, Arnold, and Tom is how a specific place, an initiative, actually transformed their lives even in this context that you heard of criminalization, brutality, exclusion, and discrimination.
In Botswana, the 11th of June of 2019 is such a big day because that is the day where it was decriminalized, same-sex relationships. So I think that was a huge landmark for people within the community. And if I recall correctly, this decision initially was appealed, and 2 years later, on the 21st of November in 2021, the decision was upheld to say same-sex relationships are legal, banned. But I believe the wording had something to do with if it is not natural or not according to nature, something like that within the actual constitution. I think the first thing I'd want to say, like I said in the beginning, that LGBTQ rights are human rights, right? Wherever you are, however you identify, you're a person and you matter, you count. You should have the right to education, to employment, to live your life, to be with who you love, and so on and so forth.
And after hearing all that and what their journey has been, I wanted to hear directly from them a final reflection on what one thing you, who you're listening to this, and I can do starting today.
Familiar, get acquainted with the people, understand the people, what they need. Because we just don't need to have where we have our LGBTQIA, our clinics, where people only have to deal with us, the same people. The health practitioners also, they should also just get acquainted with us, know what we need, what we suffer from, our basic needs, or what we go through, Kelly. And then I think that will be very good. Because the moment you just say you're gay, some faces change. Some feel disgusted. You can see in their faces like, did I say something wrong? Just because you just mentioned that, no, I'm gay, I'm going through this. You're already being judged. You already looked down upon. They see as if you're disgusting. And whatever help you're going to get, you would feel like, are you sure these people are giving me the right health advice? Or are they treating me nicely because they already judged me? Now you're scared that what if he's giving you something that's completely opposite with what you're going through? They should just be open. Treat us as normal people. We are normal. You see someone, whether it's LGBT, whether they're gay, lesbian, transgender, the same thing. You're a health practitioner. These are human bodies. They're the same. Just because the feelings or hormones are different doesn't mean that everything is completely different. Just treat them with a smile, the way you treat everyone.
I will say, when you are dealing with someone and you find out that you are queer, first of all, ask them their pronoun. And if you're helping a queer person, stay away from your religion. You don't know that person for telling them the Bible says or God says. And if you are helping a queer person, try to understand them. Because we just realized that some health workers, they don't even know anything about care. So try to understand them. It just ask them friendly questions just for you to and to know what you're dealing with at that right time.
We talked a little bit about the tangible skills, and you heard directly from the folks in the Dream Academy. But it's worthwhile emphasizing there's other things that's even more important sometimes, about confidence and passion. Sometimes these qualities are hard to quantify, but are so important for individuals trying to make a difference and sometimes trying to survive. And their self-esteem has become lowered because of the continuous and systematic discrimination they've experienced. As I reflect on all the voices that I connected in this project, in this journey, I'm struck by people's resilience and courage. Despite facing immense obstacles, people continue to persevere and fight for their rights. I think the stories remind us of the strength of the human spirit and importance of standing up for justice. And, as I said before, while systemic change is essential, creating inclusive spaces where everyone feels valued and respected is equally vital, and the work that we can do starting now. It's a necessary step towards creating a better world that we're imagining. And I hope you get the chance to build those spaces in your community. And remember, in every community, there's intersectional identities, and we need to make space for everyone. And this matters for health, too. Thanks again, everyone, for joining me on another episode of Healthcare for Humans. If you liked this episode, as always, my ask to you is please share it with one other person and go to healthcareforhumans.org to sign up to be part of the community. I'll see you next time.
If you enjoyed podcasts like this, you should check out our other shows on Health Podcast Network. For example, Better with Dr. Erica, hosted by Dr. Erica, provides support and guidance in navigating stress-related challenges to transform your relationship to self-care. Each episode arms you with the tools needed to be better, do better, and live better. There was an incredible episode that you should check out called Touch and Connections as Tools for Healing and Better Mental Health. In this episode, her guest breaks down ways to use physical touch as a form of healing for trauma and grief. Check out Better with Dr. Erica on your favorite podcast platform or visit healthpodcastnetwork.com.